Hey, how's everyone doing today? It's Wes here, aka Seahawks Prime. This is the Seahawks Times, your go-to NFL channel on YouTube. And if you're a Seahawks fan, subscribe right now because you already know what it is. This is for my 12s. Anyways, the 53-man roster for the Seattle Seahawks. It's way too early to predict exactly who's going to make it. But in my post-mock game, preseason prediction, this is who I think is going to make the 53 at all positions, even if those players are questionable to start the season because of a small injury, whatever have you. These are the most talented players on the team and who I think is going to make the team. And let's start right from the top. At quarterback, we're going to have Drew Lock and Geno Smith. What's the order, Wes? I think Drew's going to start. I think Geno's going to start. This is going to come down to the preseason games. Now, after the mock game, what I noticed from the mock game is that Drew Lock was slinging the ball all over the field, and Pete Carroll's been a little bit kind of nonchalant, saying that Geno's still going to be the starter. Yeah, the starter for this preseason game. Whoever wins this preseason battle, whoever has the best games, overall statistics, is going to win and get the start in week 1. And this is a true quarterback competition, an open competition, and may the best man win. We've got two awesome young men vying for position at QB, and we should be grateful about that, regardless of what the media says about their talent. These guys support each other, and I love that in the press conferences. They say, no matter what happens, I got the others back. And that's what this team is all about and why I love being a Seahawks fan. Running back. We've got an amazing running back room. I've been telling people, yeah, Wes, you're too optimistic about this. No, we have Rashard Penny, Ken Walker III. That's our 1-2 punch. Let's start with Penny, San Diego State. This guy, we drafted him in the first round. Yeah, Penny injured, always injured, proverbial. You know, we were all one of those people at one point in time until Rashard Penny turned into the best running back in the NFL. You know, over the last 6 games of last season, running behind Seattle's porous O-line. Yeah, guess what? He's one of the best out there, if not the most talented back. Him, Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, the most polarizing players at that position. And in my opinion, if Penny runs for 17 games this year, watch out. And right behind him, Ken Walker III. That's an awesome backup. It's not a backup. He's going to be incorporated right away. And we know now that Ken Walker can catch and catch well. We can do special things with him. He looks amazing, electrifying, well-balanced out of Michigan State, and just a phenomenal pickup in retrospect. I think they may have known Chris was going to retire, but I think they would have taken Ken Walker anyway. So that's an awesome 1-2 punch. What do I have behind those guys, which is already frightening, like lightning and thunder in a bottle? We have DJ Dallas, who has really emerged in camp. DJ Dallas, I've always loved this guy. He's a great kid, played at Miami, really sound player and has sneaky breakaway speed, but he can do a lot in the catching game and has picked up his, his blitz assignments and blocking assignments really well. DJ Dallas also is going to be a return guy as well. He can spell in both punt and kick return. Underrated player. That's awesome. And then we have Travis Homer. I'm not going to say who's the third or fourth back between those two, but Travis Homer acts more as a third down back, just a polarizing blocker on third down. Amazing special teams player. I can speak that way about Dallas as well. Travis Homer, also out of Miami, homeboys with DJ Dallas. Another really good running back. A lot of people hate on Homer, saying he runs backwards, etc. The fact of the matter is Homer is not a between the tackles shifty guy, but he's a great third down back and a quintessential type of guy you want on your team. So our receiving room is loaded, locked and loaded. We're going to get guys out in space in front of these players. Charles Cross, Will Dissly, Parkinson, Fant blocking off of both sides of the field, and they're going to get major yardage this year. And I think Seattle has a 1-3 top running game in the league. All right, wide receiver. What a fantastic YR room we have this year, headed by Tyler Lockett as our veteran. Tyler Lockett, everyone's favorite dude. You know what I mean? He's such a great guy. Did you know Tyler Lockett got his real estate certificate in like 2 states and actually sold his first home in Washington in the offseason? This guy's worth like $50 million and still just making progress in his life. What a great example. So Tyler Lockett, I just have him above DK in terms of the depth chart because he's the captain of the team. Tyler is going to give you probably 1,000 yards and 13 TDs on one leg. No matter what happens, he's just so good. One of the best route runners in the NFL. Then we have DK Metcalf, probably the most polarizing athlete in the NFL at this time. If you don't know who DK is, you've been under a rock. Got a big contract that was really team friendly at the same sense. And DK's really got a lot to prove here. And regardless of if it's Drew or Gino, he's going to have his biggest season this year. He's healthy, not playing with a broken foot, essentially. So we know DK and Tyler are there. We already know what that is. But then behind that, it gets interesting and murky. Like, who's the third wideout? I'm not going to try to pin down who is the actual third, but here's the guys that come behind them. I have D. Eskridge. Yes, Eskridge's been limping around and stuff like that, but he is extremely talented. D, I got your back, man. No matter what these people say, I know you're an amazing player. I saw a lot of your games at Western Michigan. I watched a lot of those games because I'm really like into that conference for some reason. You were amazing and electrifying, and I know he can carry that towards the NFL. D never gets healthy. Yeah, you said the same thing about Penny. When D does get healthy, watch out. You're in trouble. It is what it is. Freddie Swain, he's also just a super sound dude. Freddie out of Florida, Florida Freddie, Fab Five Freddie, he's really good at getting open when plays break down. And I've said it over and over again, he can be the Robert Woods in this type of offense, what Woods was doing in the Waldron offense, just get open. And we need that. And he's got good hands. This has been really hard for me to say, and I haven't really been talking about this player much because it's like kind of seems obvious, but it doesn't at the same time. Marquise Goodwin. Marquise Goodwin is a track athlete, but he has so much experience with the newer coaching staff that we have. They know who he is as a person, and he seems to just do everything right. Now, Goodwin doesn't get me like charged up in some way that we're going to get more than what we know about Goodwin, but he's a good sound veteran that can also return kicks. And I'm not thinking he's going to get infinite snaps, but you can use him in gadget plays and stuff like that. So I do think he's done enough to make the team. This is where it gets crazy. Who's going to get the last couple spots here? Now, I don't know if Seattle will keep 6 or 7. They might be forced to just based on the talent. But I have Derek Young. Derek Young has been amazing in camp, was amazing in the mock game, has performed well with all the quarterbacks, has amazing special teams value and measurables. He just looks like a pro, and I really want to say that it's too early for me to put him on the 53, but I just think he's going to make it. If you want to do research, Derek Young is out of Lenore Ryan. There's not a lot of college tape on him, but he is not just a Deebo Samuel type. This guy can catch and run routes, and he's spoken very highly of the staff. Bo Melton is on the cusp there. I have Cody Thompson and Bo Melton. If they keep 7 for some reason, it's going to be one of those guys, and it's going to be who does the best. I have Thompson out in front just because he has more rapport with the players already and has made a lot of catches, but I love Bo Melton. If he doesn't make it on the 53, please make it to the practice squad, Bo. But anyways, DK, Tyler, Freddie Swain, D. Eskridge, Marquise Goodwin, and Derek Young, I think, are locks at this point in time. Tight end room. Will Dissly, top 5 blocking tight end in the league, if not higher. We know what he can do. He can leak out. He can make catches. And Will is just a quintessential kind of like offensive captain. And he's going to be just a weapon out there in space for us blocking for this dynamic running game and receiver game. Noah Fant, I can't explain why we were able to get Noah Fant in that trade. I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. I don't even want the league to know that we have Noah Fant. And then another player like that, Colby Parkinson, who is 6'7", runs like 4'4", has amazing hands and can block, was hurt his first couple of seasons. This kid looks great. In every scrimmage I see or anything the Seahawks official posts, Colby's making like a touchdown play or a big play. Colby Parkinson out of Stanford, do not sleep or you'll weep. Our tight end room is nasty, maybe the best in the league. Why are people sleeping on Seattle so much? I love it. Anyways, offensive line, it's boring. Yeah, offensive line is critical right now. We've heard the coaches talking that the bookend rookie tackles may be starters. Charles Cross, Mississippi State, this guy is like the dude that built the railroad with his hands. He is so strong. I think he's the type of guy that can push around even the most dynamic pass rushers in the NFL and get into space. And we haven't seen someone like this with this kind of physical ability since Walter Jones. And he's coached under that tutelage now, so I'm so excited. So Charles Cross, at the starting guard spot, we'll have Damian Lewis. Hopefully Damian Lewis can get to the right, back to playing right guard at some point in time here. But Dame Lewis is a starter. Yeah, came out of LSU. He's been a good player, banged up a little bit, but he's a really good player. Austin Blythe at the center role. Familiarity in the Rams offense. Played with KC for a bit there. I think he's a bit underrated. He's going to be kind of that signal caller. They're excited about him in camp. They're saying our O-line is trash. I just don't believe it. You know what I mean? Like Russell Wilson, is amazing, but sometimes he would take unnecessary sacks a lot of the times. And, he's not the one that's just going to 3-step, 5-step drop and fire the ball out. So, let's see what can happen with an O-line that's young and refurbished, and the ball's getting out quick and we're getting out running quickly. And then at right guard, or left, Gabe Jackson. We got him from the Raiders. He played pretty well, but I think Haynes, of course, we're hearing that Phil Haynes has been pushing him. But Gabe Jackson, let's just say he's a starter at this stage, unless Haynes goes buck in preseason, which he might. And then Abraham Lucas out of Washington State. He's looked great. All the knocks on him in the running game have kind of been shed here. He's just got a special anchor. He can really just reset himself in a really special way. And a quintessential pro. Those are your starting 5. Behind them, Jake Curran, who's been really pressing Lucas to start. Jake Curran, really good player, a kid from California, and he just scrapped his way into the league and did great things for Seattle. But he'll be on the roster, and he can play guard as well, too. So that flexibility gets him on the team. Kyle Fuller is a backup center, for sure. And then Stone Forsythe, I think we keep him around, too, because Stone can play both tackle spots. No, he's not dynamic, but he can play. And I think we need a lot of depth at O-line this year. Defense. Anyways, defense. Let's start at safety. Jamal Adams. He's going to start there, whether he has no fingers, just cut his arms off, and Jamal Adams is just 2 broken labriums, smashing people with his freaking neck or something. Is still going to have 5 tackles for losses and 5 picks or something. So Jamal Adams, I love you, dog. You got some of the most swag in the league. I love when people hate on you. You're going to be out there. Quandre Diggs, another all pro level guy who got the snub. It's hilarious. Quandre Diggs. So we have the best safety duo in the league. Now, I wasn't talking much about Josh. He's the thumper. He's the kind of semi-vet guy that's just killing it in camp, ready to just knock someone's head off, and he can kind of come in as our cam guy. And I love that Josh Johnson has come up. If he has any 1 or 2 good preseason moments, he's going to make the squad. Marquise Blair looking amazing. He can actually play some corner as well in the slot, but Marquise Blair going to be awesome for us, looking healthy. Finally, we got this kid out of Utah. He was awesome coming out of school in his first few reps in the NFL, but got banged up and is finally back. So Blair's going to be there. We're going to go safety heavy. And Neal, I think Ryan Neal still makes the team if he starts on IR or pup. But Neal is going to be there eventually because he's just an awesome dog out there. And I just his personality is fantastic just for the sport. Now cornerback, another really interesting room. Who's going to start at corner? I'm going to say Kobe's going to start for sure. So Kobe Bryant, he's just looked amazing. He looks like a 7-year vet, all-star player with 2 rings or something. This kid's nuts. So I've talked about Kobe Bryant a lot, but out of Cincinnati, opposite of Sauce Gardner, thrown to a million times because no one threw the sauce, and this kid did nothing but just shadow people and make sure no one caught stuff. So he's awesome. And then Sidney Jones, I think, has played really, really well. Unfortunately, recently had an injury here preseason, but that just opens up opportunities for other guys to show out. But Sidney, he's a real pro, and he's looking good. So Sidney's going to make it out there and probably start. But this is where it gets super interesting. Tyreek the Freak Woolen, the Avatar man, is crawling up those ranks like an avatar scaling a cliff. This guy is the most miraculous athlete in the NFL I've seen since DK Metcalf. Where does Pete find these guys? Why don't people draft these guys? John Snyder and Pete must just be in the draft room when these guys are still available and look around and just be bing, click, go on that. Tyreek Woolen looks amazing. He was step for step with Goodwin, had a pick in the basically a pick. He kind of dropped it, but he outran Marquise Goodwin, who could start on the U.S. track team, Olympic team. And this guy's got twitch. Dude, he's moving like something out of Marvel, man. I'm telling you, Tyreek Woolen might start, bro. And ladies, this is crazy. I'm so excited about the guy, and you check my receipts. Artie Burns, got banged up a little bit, but he had an awesome camp. So I think Artie might be at risk if he can't get that injury together, but he looks awesome. So Artie Burns will play too. Justin Coleman, I think, is maybe on the bubble, but I think because of the injuries we have to Trey Brown and Artie and stuff, Justin will get in there and probably play in the slot, at least out of the gate. And then, we probably put Trey Brown on PUP or something like that. But Trey Brown, awesome player. I have no questions about him that he's going to make this team and do well out there on the field. I don't know if you put him outside with all the talent we have, but you could probably put him inside too. So that's that. So edge rush. This is being overlooked too. This is an extremely talented position for Seattle. Darrell Taylor, this is my early prediction, is that Darrell Taylor has as many sacks as Nick Bosa. That's what I think is going to happen. That's how good I think Darrell Taylor is. He's going to get so much opportunity just to go nuts. So Darrell Taylor, I'm not telling you that he is Nick Bosa, but I think from an opportunity of like a dynamic breakout season, that's what we're going to see from DT, who just looks electrifying in all avenues off the ball. Just an amazing find here. They were patient with this kid, and he's going to provide just more than I think his capital could even tell. Behind him, Uchenna Nwosu, picked him up off the Chargers. He's a solid player. He's going to get sacks. He's going to make the tackles, but he's also an underrated pass rusher, so I'm happy with that. And Boye Mafe, I'm so thrilled about this kid. He's brilliant, this guy. And if they're counting this kid out like it's going to take him time, they're going to be wrong. People are going to be on the run from this guy. Trust me, man. Boye Mafe out of Minnesota, I think a steal at position that we got Boye. Those are our kind of like edgy kind of guys. I think Boye is more of like an outside linebacker, sure, but I think he's going to be like there to get sacks. So I'll kind of put him in the linebacking room if so, whatever you feel like. Along with Tyreek Smith. So let's back that up a bit. So like at edge, let's go Darrell Taylor, Uchenna Nwosu, and Alton Robinson. Robinson more of a DE. And then an outside linebacker, Boye Mafe and Tyreek Smith, who's also quick off the ball and looking really good. So I know it feels like I'm overselling this team because we have so much youth, but the youth and the coaching combination we have, I just feel something electrifying in the air going like that, when like that feeling. That's what's going on in that part of the defense. Now at true like linebacker, Jordan Brooks, he's going to make the Pro Bowl this year. He's one of the best linebackers in the league, period. He's going to be the captain, the signal caller. But you also have that other type of guy in Cody Barton, who I also think is going to have an electrifying year. He's very underrated. He kind of reminds me of like Cliquey type, not just because he's a white dude, but because of how he is just so cerebral and so good end to end. Another Utah guy, and if history repeats itself, people out of that state for linebacking, have been pretty amazing. That's an homage to Bobby Wagner. Behind that, we have Nick Bellore, who is like everybody's favorite Seahawk because he's so funny. Look up some Nick Bellore YouTube videos and you will see probably the funniest press conferences I've ever seen in my life. He just calls people out, but he's a special teams ace. Last year, he smoked a couple people. Ayuk tried to return a kick from the Niners and he almost killed him. Nick Bellore is nuts. Like, he just goes right at people's freaking right in the middle of their body. Like some crazy stuff. But Bellore, like, he can play linebacker. That's what he was drafted for, but he's more of like a fullback and special teams captain. That's really what he's doing. But a guy that can play and I think is going to make it is Vi Jones, who looks really good as like a coverage linebacker. Vi Jones, kind of like undrafted type guy, very quintessential Seattle, but has freaky measurables. I can see Vi Jones as a linebacker that's going to make this team because we're not really deep at that type of, end-to-end Mike and Will type linebacker. So Vi Jones. And then the interior defensive line, I think is pretty obvious. Shelby Harris, acquired from Denver in that trade, 31-year-old type of vet, but a real guy that can actually get to the quarterback. If not get the sacks, he can get pressures consistently. He's one of the more consistent DTs in the NFL. Then we have Poona Ford. He's just like that very stout run stopping guy that can kind of get inside, get pressure. Poona, a great player. Brian Monet, we signed him, quintessential nose type of guy who can really just run stuff. Monet, we paid him a little bit because he's very consistent. And then Al Woods, the savvy vet. I think Al Woods about 33 now, but he's been with us for a little bit and he's really sound. I'm not saying that these guys are all pros. I'm just saying that these guys are all like professionals and very good. So sometimes that's all you really need is consistency along the line. And then Quentin Jefferson, another quintessential pro that we've gotten back into our system, knows what we're trying to do and can get to the QB. So that's kind of like the head honcho type people who I think we constantly rotate. Now, a lot of people tell me LJ Collier will get cut. I don't think so. LJ has to show it in preseason, but this type of defense caters to his strengths of being more of like a three-tech type guy. And he's been on the outside. I think he has a lot to prove. But LJ, I think, should make the team. And then our special teams, Jason Myers is looking good. He did enough last year to stay. I just think a lot of the unfortunate kicks that he had were a little bit crappy and unfortunate, but he's a good kicker. And then Michael Dixon, to me, is the best punter in the league. And then Tyler Ott's been snapping the ball with us since I was born, it feels like. So Tyler Ott is the long snapper. There's the 53, folks. Tell me what you think. You probably have drastically different opinions, and that's okay. But these are the guys I think make the team. We'll get into more fringe players in another video, bubble players. This will be my first 53-man roster prediction for the Seahawks 1.0. I'll do one and one only final one before or after the preseason. The last preseason game, I'll do 2.0 for y'all. Hey, it's Go Hawks all day. And if you just love the NFL in general, make sure to subscribe to your boy. I hope this video wasn't too long, but I have a lot of fun doing it. Next video, I don't know what I'll do. I'll probably just start profiling individual players. But if you haven't subscribed to Seahawks Times, please do it. It's your boy Wes, aka Seahawks Prime, and I love y'all.